The crystalline spires of Aetheria Prime sparkled under the light of its twin suns, their iridescent surfaces reflecting countless colors across the planet's pristine atmosphere. High Sentinel Lyra Vex stood at her observation post in the Planetary Defense Center, her luminescent skin pulsing with subtle patterns of concern as she studied the long-range sensor data. Another anomaly, High Sentinel, reported Junior Observer Kane, his tendrils writhing in agitation. The quantum disturbances at the edge of our system have increased by 300% in the last solar rotation. Lyra's inner light dimmed slightly, the Aetherian equivalent of a frown. Her people had achieved space flight centuries ago, but they had always been more interested in art, science, and the preservation of life than in military might. Their defensive capabilities, while adequate for dealing with space debris and the occasional solar storm, had never been truly tested against an external threat. "Show me the pattern analysis," she commanded, her crystalline voice resonating through the chamber. The holographic display expanded, filling the room with a three-dimensional map of their star system. The anomalies appeared as dark purple ripples against the peaceful blue backdrop of normal spacetime. They're organized, she realized, her bioluminescence flickering rapidly. These aren't natural phenomena. They're hyperspace exit points being mapped for a large fleet. Before she could issue any orders, the sensors screamed to life. Hundreds of ships torn through the fabric of space, their angular black hulls absorbing rather than reflecting light. They moved with predatory grace, their formation suggesting both military precision and centuries of experience in conquest. "By the first light," whispered Kane, his usual purple glow fading to a pale lavender. "Those are Drachnid warships." The Drachnids, a species whose very name caused light patterns of fear among the Aetherians. They were known throughout this arm of the galaxy as relentless expansionists who viewed all other forms of life as resources to be harvested or subjugated. "Begin emergency protocols," Lyra ordered, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her photoreceptors. "Launch the evacuation ships. Get as many civilians to the sanctuary moons as possible." High Sentinel called out the communications officer, her patterns showing urgent distress. "We're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel." The holographic display shifted, revealing a Drachnid commander. Like all of his species, he possessed an exoskeleton that seemed to absorb light, with multiple compound eyes that gleamed with cold intelligence. When he spoke, his mandibles clicked in what the Aetherians' translation matrices interpreted as amusement. "Greetings, luminous ones," the commander's translated voice filled the chamber. "I am Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Drachnid Empire. Your system has been selected for integration into our growing dominion. Surrender now, and we will ensure your species survives as productive members of our society. Resist, and we will harvest your crystalline bodies for our energy matrices." Lyra's glow pulsed with determination. "We are a peaceful people, Commander, but we will not submit to slavery. Our art, our science, our very way of life, these are not yours to take." "Admirable sentiment," Vexthor clicked. "Ultimately futile, but admirable. You have one planetary rotation to reconsider. After that, we begin our harvest." As the transmission cut off, Lyra turned to her staff, her light patterns shifting to emergency frequencies. "Begin broadcasting on all frequencies, including the experimental quantum channels. Send out our story, our culture, our knowledge. Even if we fall, the galaxy must know what happened here." She paused, remembering the strange transmissions they had intercepted months ago. Stories of a young species from a blue world who had mastered faster-than-light travel in mere centuries, who had sworn to protect the rights of sentient beings throughout the galaxy. And add this message: "To the people of Earth, if you're listening, we have heard tales of your courage, your innovation, your dedication to justice. The Aetherian civilization stands on the brink. We offer our friendship and alliance if you will help us in our hour of need." As the message began broadcasting across all known frequencies and through the quantum channels the Aetherians had only recently discovered, Lyra turned back to the tactical display. She had to buy time. Time for the evacuations. Time for their message to reach someone. Anyone who might help. "Deploy our defense platforms," she ordered. "Activate the solar shields. We may not be warriors, but we will show these drachnids that the light of civilization will not be so easily extinguished." The first shots were fired as Etheria's first sunset began, the drachnids' energy weapons creating beautiful but deadly auroras in the planet's atmosphere. As Lyra coordinated their desperate defense, she could only hope their message would reach the humans in time. Their civilization's light would hold as long as it could, but against the darkness approaching, they would need allies who understood both the beauty of peace and the necessity of standing against tyranny. Admiral Sarah Chen was enjoying her first cup of real coffee in months when the quantum communications array detected the signal. She was stationed aboard the UES Artemis, humanity's most advanced command vessel, currently patrolling the edges of known space. The ship's AI, Eradicates, manifested as a holographic interface above her desk. "Admiral, we've detected an anomalous quantum transmission. The signature suggests a previously unknown civilization, and the message appears to be a distress call." Chen set down her coffee, immediately alert. Source: the Carina Vega sector, approximately 300 light-years from our current position. The transmission method is fascinating. They're using quantum entanglement in a way we haven't seen before. The Admiral stood, straightening her uniform. "Play it." As the message unfolded, displaying both the technical data about the Aetherian civilization and their desperate plea for help, Chen's expression hardened. The Artemis's sensors were already processing the tactical data embedded in the transmission. The size of the Drachnid fleet, their weapon signatures, the defensive capabilities of the Aetherians. "ARIA, send priority Alpha to Fleet Command. Attach all sensor data and the Aetherian transmission. Then get me a secure channel to General Rodriguez." Within moments, the holographic form of General Maria Rodriguez, commander of the United Earth Defense Force, appeared in Chen's office. Even through the quantum-encrypted transmission, the tension in her posture was evident. "Sarah, I've reviewed the data. The Security Council is convening now, but we both know what they'll say. We can't ignore this." Chen nodded. The drachnids match every parameter of a level 1 threat. If they're allowed to harvest the Aetherians' resources and technology, they'll only grow stronger. More importantly, this is exactly the situation the Prometheus Protocol was designed for. "Agreed. You have authorization to execute Protocol Prometheus. How quickly can you respond?" Chen pulled up the tactical display, her fingers dancing through the holographic interface. "I have the 7th Fleet within rapid response range. We can make the jump in under 6 hours using the new quantum fold drives. The real question is, do we show them everything we've got?" Rodriguez's hologram smiled grimly. "The Security Council's standing orders are clear. If we commit to this, we go all in. No more hiding our true capabilities. The galaxy needs to understand that humanity stands ready to defend civilization itself." "Understood." Chen's fingers flew across her console, sending coded orders to the fleet. "I'm activating all QFD-equipped ships in the sector. We'll arrive with overwhelming force. Good hunting, Sarah. Show them what humanity can do." As the transmission ended, Chen turned to Araya. "Battle stations. Send these tactical parameters to all ships in the 7th Fleet. I want every captain to understand exactly what we're facing and what's at stake." The next few hours were a blur of activity. Ships across the sector received their orders and began convergence procedures. The newest additions to humanity's arsenal were brought online. Quantum-phased weapons capable of bypassing traditional shields, AI-driven combat systems that could react faster than organic minds, and the revolutionary quantum fold drives that had transformed humanity's understanding of spacetime itself. In the Artemis's main briefing room, Chen addressed the assembled holographic images of her fleet captains. The tactical display showed their target: the Aetherian system, now partially occupied by Drachnid forces. Ladies and gentlemen, in less than 6 hours, we will make first contact with 2 alien civilizations. One represents everything we hope to find among the stars: a peaceful, advanced culture dedicated to art, science, and the preservation of life. The other embodies what we've always feared: an empire built on conquest and subjugation. She paused, looking at each captain's hologram in turn. The choice before us is clear. We will demonstrate to both the Etherians and the Drachnids that humanity is a force for justice in this galaxy. Our response must be decisive, but measured. We are not conquerors or executioners. We are guardians. The Drachnids believe they are facing a primitive species that will be easy to harvest. They have no idea that their actions have attracted the attention of a civilization that mastered quantum mechanics while they were still perfecting plasma weapons. We will give them one chance to withdraw. If they refuse, we will demonstrate why humanity's rapid technological advancement has been matched only by our commitment to defending the rights of sentient beings. The briefing continued as Chen outlined their battle strategy. The fleet would emerge from quantum space in a 3-dimensional formation that would immediately surround the Drachnid forces. Their first priority would be protecting the remaining Etherian civilian ships and defensive installations. Then they would demonstrate their technological superiority in a way that would leave no doubt about humanity's capabilities. As the captain's holograms faded, Chen returned to the bridge. The Artemis quantum fold drive was spinning up, its unique energy signature harmonizing with the other ships in the fleet. On screens throughout the ship, the countdown timer ticked steadily toward 0. RIA. Send a message to the Etherian Defense Command, encrypted using their own quantum protocols. Hold fast. Help is coming. The stars outside the view screen began to distort as the quantum fold drive reached critical harmonics. Chen sat in her command chair, her expression resolute. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment. Their emergence onto the galactic stage, not as conquerors or victims, but as protectors. All ships report ready. Admiral, Araya announced. Quantum fold drives synchronized. We can commence the jump on your order. Chen took one last look at the tactical display showing their destination. Nearly 1,000 Drachnid ships besieging this civilization that had never harmed anyone. That would end today. Execute quantum fold jump. Let's show the galaxy what humanity stands for. The 7th Fleet vanished in a cascade of quantum effects, racing across light years to answer the call of a civilization in need. The age of humanity hiding their true capabilities was over. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth's children had grown up, and they had decided to become something their ancestors would have been proud of. Defenders of the light against the darkness. Supreme Commander Vexthor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Night, watching with satisfaction as his fleet systematically dismantled the Etherians' outer defensive grid. The crystalline beings had fought with surprising determination for a species dedicated to art and science, but their resistance was ultimately futile. His sensors suddenly screamed to life, detecting massive energy signatures materializing throughout the system. Impossible, his science officer chittered. We're detecting quantum distortions at every strategic point in the system. Multiple ships emerging simultaneously. Before Vexthor could respond, space itself seemed to fold open in a breathtaking display of precise coordination. Nearly 2,000 vessels emerged from quantum space, their sleek hulls gleaming with an otherworldly sheen. They appeared in a perfect 3-dimensional sphere around his fleet, a feat of navigation that should have been impossible. Unknown vessels, his communications officer reported, broadcasting on all frequencies, including several we didn't know existed. A human figure appeared on his command screen, wearing a dark uniform adorned with gold insignia. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You are engaged in unprovoked hostilities against a peaceful civilization. Withdraw your forces immediately, or we will be forced to demonstrate humanity's full military capabilities. Vexthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. You dare threaten the Drachnid Empire? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Our technology is beyond anything your young species could comprehend. Final warning. Commander, withdraw or face the consequences of your actions. Launch all fighters. Target their command ship. Vex Thor ordered, his exoskeleton bristling with combat hormones. Show these presumptuous primitives the might of the Drachnid Empire. Admiral Chen's expression remained calm. Very well. All ships, execute Battle Plan Epsilon. Quantum weapons authorized. Minimize enemy casualties, but protect the Aetherians at all costs. What followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. The human ships moved with impossible precision, their formations shifting like liquid geometry. Traditional space combat doctrine called for broadside engagements along a two-dimensional plane. The humans ignored these conventions completely, their ships moving in three-dimensional patterns that made targeting them nearly impossible. Their weapons, the tactical officers screamed, "They're not hitting our shields. They're bypassing them completely." Quantum phase torpedoes passed through the most advanced Drachnid shields as if they didn't exist, their warheads detonating with surgical precision to disable rather than destroy. Human fighters executed micro-quantum jumps, appearing inside the Drachnid formation to deliver precision strikes before vanishing again. On the bridge of the Artemis, Chen watched the battle unfold with clinical detachment. Eradicates. Status report. Phase 1 proceeding as planned, Admiral. 40% of enemy vessels disabled. 0 casualties on either side. Quantum disruption fields are preventing their retreat while allowing Aetherian civilian ships to reach safety. Chen nodded. Begin Phase 2. Deploy the key swarms. From the holds of the human ships emerged swarms of quantum-entangled drones, each smaller than a fighter, but carrying advanced AI systems. They moved in perfect synchronization, weaving impossible patterns through space as they surrounded Drachnid vessels. Rather than attacking directly, they began emitting precisely calibrated quantum fields. Admiral, Eradicates reported, Q-swarms are successfully isolating Drachnid ships from normal spacetime. Their weapons and engines are becoming increasingly desynchronized from our reality frame. In his flagship, Vex Thor watched in horror as his mighty fleet was systematically neutralized. Ships that hadn't been precisely disabled by quantum weapons found themselves trapped in localized temporal bubbles, their weapons firing at targets that had moved minutes ago, their engines pushing them through space that no longer existed where they perceived it. This isn't possible, he chittered. No species could have developed such complete mastery over quantum mechanics in mere centuries. Commander, his science officer's voice trembled. Scans indicate their technology isn't just more advanced than ours. It operates on principles we don't even understand. They're not just manipulating space and time. They're rewriting the local laws of physics themselves. On the Artemis's bridge, Chen received a priority alert from Eradicates. Admiral, we're detecting power fluctuations in the Drachnid flagship's main reactor. Their attempts to break free of the quantum disruption field are causing dangerous instabilities. Chen opened a channel to the eternal night. Commander Vex Thor, your ship's reactor will breach in approximately 3 minutes. Order your crew to evacuate immediately. We will ensure all escape pods reach safety. Vex Thor stared at the tactical display, watching as his 1,000-ship fleet was systematically reduced to floating hulks by an enemy that hadn't actually destroyed a single vessel or taken a single life. The humans had simply removed his fleet's ability to fight, with a casual display of technological superiority that went beyond humbling into the realm of the mythological. All hands, he finally ordered, his voice heavy with defeat. Abandon ship. Send priority Ultra to Imperial Command. Nature of human technological superiority greater than previously estimated. Recommend immediate diplomatic contact. Military engagement inadvisable. As escape pods launched from the dying flagship, Chen turned to her fleet communications. All ships, begin search and rescue operations. I want every Drachnid crew member accounted for and provided with medical attention if needed. Contact the Aetherian Defense Command. Let them know it's safe to begin bringing their civilian ships home. The battle, if it could even be called that, had lasted less than 20 minutes. The mighty Drachnid Empire, which had terrorized this sector of space for centuries, had been defeated not through superior firepower or brutal tactics, but through technology so advanced it appeared almost magical, wielded with a precision and restraint that demonstrated not just military might, but technological and moral superiority. As she watched rescue operations begin, Chen allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had revealed itself to the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians. The message they had sent today would echo across the stars. Earth's children had grown up, and they had chosen to use their power to protect rather than dominate. High Sentinel Lyra Vec stood in the observation dome of the Aetherian Defense Center, her crystalline form pulsing with waves of amazement as she watched the human fleet methodically secure the system. Their ships moved with impossible grace, their quantum technologies so advanced they seemed to bend reality itself. Beside her, Admiral Chen's hologram glowed with a steady blue light. "Your rescue operations are complete, High Sentinel," Chen reported. "All Drachnid personnel have been accounted for and are receiving medical attention. Their disabled vessels have been secured, and we're preparing to help your people return home." Lyra's patterns shifted to express deep gratitude. "In all our history, we never imagined such power could be wielded with such precision and restraint. You could have destroyed them completely." "That's not who we are," Chen replied simply. "Humanity learned long ago that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to know when not to." The Admiral's hologram gestured, and a new display appeared, showing the quantum damage assessment of Aetheria's defensive systems. "We'd like to help you upgrade your defensive capabilities, not to make you warriors, but to ensure you can protect your way of life. The Drachnid Empire won't take this defeat lightly," Lyra observed, her colors dimming slightly. "No, they won't. That's why I've invited their sector ambassador to join us for discussions. He should be arriving within the hour." On cue, a sleek diplomatic vessel emerged from quantum space, its design distinctly different from the warships that had attacked earlier. The Drachnid ambassador, a veteran diplomat named Qatar, arrived at the defense center under escort from both human and Aetherian guards. Admiral Chen's hologram greeted him with a respectful nod. "Ambassador Qatar, welcome to Aetheria Prime. I trust you've received the full battle records we transmitted." The Drachnid diplomat's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "Indeed, our analysts are struggling to comprehend much of what they saw. Your quantum manipulation technologies alone represent several evolutionary leaps beyond our current understanding. Which is why we're here to talk," Chen replied. "Humanity has chosen to reveal itself fully because we believe the galaxy is ready for a change. The age of empire building through military conquest is over. We're proposing a new paradigm." In the space between them, a holographic display materialized, showing a network of quantum communications relays extending throughout the sector. "We're offering to help establish a galactic commons," Chen continued, "a network of civilizations sharing knowledge, resources, and mutual defense. The Drachnid Empire is welcome to join, provided you're willing to adapt to a new way of thinking." Qatar's compound eyes studied the display intently. "You're not demanding our surrender or trying to dismantle our empire. Why?" "Because forcing change through military might just creates resentment and resistance," Chen explained. "We're offering partnership instead of dominance. Your empire has achieved remarkable things. Your biotechnology, your understanding of hyperspace mechanics, your architectural engineering. These are achievements worth preserving and sharing." Lyra's crystalline form sparkled with sudden understanding. "You're not just preventing war. You're trying to transform how civilizations interact." "Precisely," Chen nodded. "Humanity spent centuries dreaming about reaching the stars. When we finally did, we decided to become the civilization we always hoped to meet, a civilization that uses its power to protect, to elevate, to unite." Qatar's antennae twitched with curiosity. And if we refuse, then we'll still protect those who need protection, Chen replied calmly. We'll still offer aid to those who ask for it. And we'll demonstrate again and again that there's a better way forward than conquest. The choice is yours. But know that humanity stands ready to defend any civilization that chooses peace over dominance. The discussion continued for hours, delving into the specifics of the proposed Galactic Commons. The humans shared preliminary data about their quantum technologies, enough to demonstrate their willingness to help, but carefully calibrated to ensure responsible development. They outlined plans for joint scientific ventures, cultural exchanges, and a mutual defense protocol that would protect member civilizations. Throughout the negotiations, Lyra observed the humans with growing fascination. Their technological prowess was extraordinary, but it was their approach to wielding that power that truly set them apart. They showed no interest in empire building or domination. Instead, they seemed genuinely committed to fostering cooperation and growth among diverse civilizations. As the talks concluded, Admiral Chen's hologram turned to address both the Aetherian High Sentinel and the Drachnid Ambassador. What happened here today isn't just about one battle or one system. It's about choosing the kind of galaxy we want to create together. Humanity has the power to enforce peace through superior firepower, but we'd rather build something lasting through cooperation and mutual understanding. The Admiral's words hung in the air as both alien leaders contemplated the choice before them. The humans had demonstrated they possessed technology that could have easily conquered either civilization. Instead, they were offering partnership, protection, and a path to advancement that didn't require violence. Lyra's crystalline form pulsed with bright, hopeful colors. The Aetherian consensus would be honored to join your Galactic Commons, Admiral. Perhaps together we can create something truly extraordinary. Kar's mandibles clicked in what the translators interpreted as thoughtful consideration. I will convey your proposal to the Imperial Council, but speaking unofficially, I believe you have given us much to think about. Perhaps it is time for the Drachnid Empire to evolve beyond conquest. As the meeting concluded, Shen allowed herself a small smile. The revelation of humanity's true capabilities had achieved exactly what they'd hoped, not just preventing a war, but potentially transforming the very nature of galactic civilization. It was just the beginning, but it was a beginning full of promise. One standard galactic year after the Battle of Aetheria, the crystalline spires of the newly constructed Galactic Commons Assembly rose from the surface of a neutral world chosen for its position at the intersection of human, Aetherian, and Drachnid space. The architecture itself told a story of cooperation. Drachnid engineering providing the underlying structure, Aetherian crystal tech creating its sweeping artistic forms, and human quantum field generators protecting and maintaining it all. Admiral Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's first ambassador to the Galactic Commons, stood at the main observation deck, watching representatives from 24 species arrive for the first General Assembly. Beside her, High Sentinel Lyra Vex's crystalline form shimmered with excited patterns. Sometimes I still can't believe how much has changed in a single revolution, Lyra mused, her thoughts translating smoothly through the advanced quantum neural interfaces humans had helped develop. A year ago, we thought we were facing extinction. Now we're helping to guide the development of a united galaxy. The changes in the Drachnid Empire have been even more remarkable, observed Qatar, who had joined them after being appointed as the Empire's permanent representative. His exoskeleton now bore ceremonial markings indicating his status as a peacemaker rather than a warrior. Our entire society is transforming. We're finding that collaboration yields resources and advantages that conquest never could. Chen smiled, remembering the cascading effects that had followed humanity's dramatic entrance onto the galactic stage. The demonstration of their quantum technology had sparked a renaissance of scientific cooperation. Instead of fighting over resources, civilizations were learning to create what they needed through advanced quantum engineering. The humans' ability to manipulate space-time had made travel and communication easier than ever before, leading to unprecedented cultural exchange. "The assembly is about to begin," announced Eradicates, whose quantum-projected consciousness now helped coordinate activities throughout common space. The AI had evolved too, learning from interaction with alien thought patterns and technologies. The great chamber filled with representatives from across known space. Some were longtime spacefaring races, others newly spacefaring civilizations that had sought protection and guidance from the commons. Each brought unique perspectives and capabilities to the growing alliance. Chen took her place at the speaker's podium, facing the assembled representatives. The moment felt historic, though she knew it was just another step in a longer journey. "Honored representatives," she began, her words translated simultaneously into 24 languages. "1 year ago, humanity revealed itself to the galaxy by preventing a war and proposing a different path forward. Today we gather to celebrate not just peace, but the beginning of true galactic civilization." She gestured, and the chamber's quantum projectors created a three-dimensional map of known space, highlighting the growing network of commons worlds and facilities. "In 1 year, we've established quantum communication networks spanning 3 spiral arms. We've created joint scientific initiatives that have already yielded breakthroughs in medicine, energy production, and environmental restoration. Former enemies now work together to solve problems that once drove them to conflict." The map shifted, showing the location of the newest Commons project, a massive solar engineering facility being built collaboratively by humans, drachnids, and Aetherians. But perhaps most importantly, we've proven that diversity is strength. Each of our civilizations brings unique perspectives and capabilities. The drachnids' organizational efficiency, the Aetherians' artistic vision, humanity's innovation. These aren't competing forces, but complementary ones. Carr rose to speak next, his translator conveying both words and emotional subtleties. "The Empire once sought to impose unity through force. We now understand that true unity comes from recognizing and celebrating our differences while working toward common goals." Lyra's crystal form pulsed with agreement. "And through the humans' example, we've learned that advanced technology need not separate us from our values. Their power comes not just from their quantum sciences, but from their commitment to using that power wisely." The assembly continued, with representatives discussing everything from scientific initiatives to cultural exchange programs. Trade routes were being reorganized for efficiency, and a combined fleet of commons vessels now patrolled space, preventing piracy and offering aid to any ships in distress. Later, in a private moment, Chen stood with Lyra and Qatar in the observation dome, watching ships from dozens of worlds move through the local space lanes in perfect harmony. "You know," Chen mused, "when humanity first reached for the stars, we carried 2 competing visions. One was of conquest and conflict, the idea that the galaxy would be a battlefield where only the strongest survived. The other was of cooperation and discovery, the hope that different civilizations could come together to create something greater than any could achieve alone. By revealing your true capabilities through an act of protection rather than aggression, you helped us all choose the better path," Qatar observed. Lyra's patterns shifted to express deep appreciation. "You showed us that true strength lies not in the ability to destroy or dominate, but in the wisdom to build and unite." Chen nodded, watching as a group of young diplomats, human, drachnid, and Aetherian, walked together through the assembly's gardens, engaged in animated discussion. "That's the real victory. Not the battle we won, but the peace we're building together. Every day, more civilizations are joining the commons, not out of fear, but out of hope for what we can achieve together." As the 3 leaders looked out at the star-filled sky, they could see the quantum communication relays gleaming in orbit, their light a constant reminder that the galaxy was entering a new age. Humanity had revealed itself not as conquerors or saviors, but as partners in building a future where the stars themselves were not barriers but bridges, connecting all sentient beings in a grand adventure of discovery and growth. The story of the Battle of Aetheria would be told and retold across the galaxy, not primarily as a tale of military victory, but as the moment when the galaxy learned that the most powerful force in existence wasn't quantum technology or advanced weapons. It was the choice to use power not for dominance, but for the advancement of all.